Hi friends! In case you haven't heard, Major League Baseball has pulled its All-Star game out of Atlanta. Why? To protest a new restrictive voting law in Georgia. Yes, Major League Baseball! Sports! Let me tell you a little bit about this restrictive voting law. This law makes it harder to vote by mail or by absentee ballot. It would significantly impact voters of color in the state. And are you ready for this one? They even made it illegal to distribute food and water to voters as they wait in line. And I'm just saying, if you can persuade someone's vote by giving them a cup of water, we have bigger problems, fam. I think it's great that Major League Baseball is using their power to stand up for voting rights. And other big corporations like Delta and Coca-Cola that are based in Georgia are being pressured to speak up about this bill. Now you might be wondering, why do we need all of these big companies to speak out on these issues? I'll tell you why. Because money. Corporations have all of it, which means politicians will actually listen to them. And apparently, they don't even have to pay taxes. Good for corporations. That's how democracy works now. You know, instead of picking up the phone and calling your senator like, I don't like this law, nah, now you threaten companies and say you're gonna boycott them so they feel pressure to pick up the phone and call the senator and say, I don't like this law, just as the founding fathers intended. And here's the thing, these big corporate protests do work. Remember in 2017 when the NBA and the NAACP pulled out of North Carolina protesting the horrible bathroom ban for transgender people? And it worked, they eventually repealed the law. I don't know, I guess the North Carolina legislators had a change of heart and saw the error in their ways. Just kidding, it was because of money. It's always about money. But of course, as with most things, there's always two sides to consider. The problem with Major League Baseball pulling out of Georgia is that it's going to negatively impact a lot of Georgians. Even Stacey Abrams, someone who's dedicated her life to protect voting rights for people of color, has said, I respect boycotts, although I don't want to see Georgia families hurt by lost events or jobs. Georgians targeted by voter suppression will be hurt as opportunities go to other states. And she makes a good point, because it'll be stadiums and people involved in the tourism industry that will be hit the most by this, and those people were probably hit the most by the pandemic to begin with. Also, low-key, I'm a little concerned about the mascot for the Atlanta Braves, Blooper. I mean, another season sitting alone in the stadium can't be good for this alien ogre muppet. What is this? What am I looking at? But there's another major industry in Atlanta that's been mostly silent through all of this, and I'm talking about Hollywood, baby. It's a huge industry in Georgia, and it's where the Marvel movies and the Tyler Perry movies get made. I'm just saying, fingers crossed that Madea Goes to Wakanda is in our future. But it seems like a lot of studios are not willing to pull production because they're still recovering from the delays caused by the pandemic. And the reality is, a boycott from the film industry would just end up hurting a lot of crew members, restaurants, hotel workers. But the problem is, boycotts from major corporations seems like the only way to get laws changed these days. Why? We get it, right? You're following, right? Ultimately, I support this boycott. I think the hope is that this short-term financial stress will be smaller than a long-term reality in which these undemocratic laws suppress voters. Every American should be able to vote freely and easily, and I think that's worth fighting for. Because when a problematic law like this gets passed, I want to be able to hit up Wendy's just like, yo, you better fix this or else it's over for me and you. Because that's the American way. Oh my god, thank you so much for watching the show. If you click here, I think you can subscribe to the channel. If you click over here, more clips just like this one. Click them.